Alright, welcome back to frogs. I don't know why you need a frog for this, because it seems like, anyways, so you have an infinite binary string and you have a promise that the binary string has 0 upper density. What does that mean? I don't know either, let me look it up. 0 upper, what is upper density? Is it like lim soup of... Okay, so 0 upper density means that for the lim soup of the number of indices t for which at is equal to 1 and t is less than or equal to n divided by n is equal to 0. So what that means is that lim soup. I don't need lim soup here, right? I can literally just say lim if like it's actually equal to 0. I can just say lim, right? Because the lim imp is certainly non-negative. So I think I can just say this is just saying that the okay. Cool. Scared me for a moment there. Anyways, you're promised that the density, arithmetic density, is equal to 0. And what you want, you have this frog that wants to cross the road with probability bounded away from 0. So first of all, I'm gonna think out loud just to make sure I have the definitions right, because probability is one of those things that if you're in high school, you probably never got a good definition, and there's a lot of things that you... So what does it mean to have a probability in this case? Because it's, if I'm understanding this problem correctly, you're not being told that, say, it's not a random binary string. Like what's happening is you want to have a strategy, and that strategy will depend on the bits that you see, but you want to get, and the strategy depends on the bits that you see as well as access to some source of randomness. So the frog at any point can look at the existing bits and then pick from those existing bits. It determines a probability of whether it wants to try to jump or not, and you need that property such that so what is a strategy? So a strategy formally is it's a function from that takes some number of initial bits and outputs a probability 0, 1 of jumping. And goal, find a strategy such that for any hidden string AI, there exists the probability of winning is at least t. Yeah, so instead of seed, I'm actually just going to say, like, you know, for I know what you're talking about, but for the purposes of the high school audience here, we're going to say that just it's a function from the initial bits to an output probability, just because I don't want to... I'm not sure the general audience will appreciate having a random seed with a Lebesgue measure on it. Okay, so the question is, can you do this? And I messed up the LaTeX somehow. I'll fix that. I'm gonna make it a Vitali set. I don't even know what that is. So, I guess intuitively, like you're. Oh god, the order of the quantifiers. I feel like the frog is doing pretty well. Um, like, you know. Okay. So, I have to be a little careful because P is not allowed to depend on the string. Why would you jump? So the reason you cannot use 0, 1, like if your function is binary, then there exist strings for which you always die. Like the binary string is not random. So if you have a strategy that says like I will jump on at t equals 5 if the first 4 bits are 0, 0, 1, 1, then 0, 0, 1, 1, 1 will kill you 100% of the time. That's what makes this tricky. Like, yeah, it's so this is very confusing. Like, because if you're in if you do like high school contest stuff, like most of the time, like you would imagine the binary string is also random, but that's not what's happening here. The binary string is fixed but hidden, and you need a strategy that will work with probability at least 1%, no matter what binary string was hidden from you. That's what makes the problem interesting. Uh, but I feel like even then, like it's density 0. Like, I feel like if I randomly come up with a strategy that seems reasonable, it will work. So I'm gonna just make one up and see if it works, okay? Jump at time t with probability 1 over 100 or shit, that's too low. I don't want it to be that high. I'm literally just gonna make one up and see if it works. Right, so you can imagine like suppose your strategy was called like coin flip at every, coin flip and ignore all the previous data. In general, if you ignore the previous data, I think you're screwed. Because you can imagine a string for which you initially just have a lot of ones, and then your probability of success will become the probability that you miss, the frog doesn't jump on all those ones. So you need to actually read the prehistory. Like, you can't do it if you don't read history. But it feels like if you decay in the history quickly enough, then you should be okay. And I think in general, okay, like the less likely you are to jump, the better, right? So, 9. I don't know. I'm just making up numbers. It's not guaranteed to terminate, but you don't have to terminate, right? Oh, oh, I see. You have to jump with probability 1. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought it was okay if you only jumped with some probability. No, actually, yeah, I have okay, let me clear up the question in that case. Such that the frog jumps such that regardless the frog jumps with probability 1 and the frog survives with probability at least 10 to the... We'll just put a number in, okay? In fact, I bet if you can do it at all, you can do better than 1%. Actually, yeah, I feel like it doesn't. If it doesn't terminate, I'm not that concerned either. Because as long as it terminates with positive probability, you can just scale everything, right? Is that a true statement? Like you can just scale might not be the right word, but like if you terminate with positive probability. You can like okay. Let's go to the random string model. Okay, you imagine the oracle, or you use a random seed. Okay, and then what happens is like okay, only for 20% of the seeds do you ever jump. Then for the other 80% of the seeds, you change the strategy to what's called jump on t equals 1, and then you don't care. Like as long as you have positive probability. So sorry, scale is the wrong word, but it's like if your random seed is It doesn't work, really? Does it not work? Like, if you have a strategy that both terminates with positive probability and survives with positive probability, is that not good enough? It'd be given the bits you have. No, I object. You can imagine your oracle that's giving you the randomness, like gives you a single real number between 0 and 1 that you have to use for the entire thing. And that should be equivalent, right? Like the product space, even though it's an infinite product space, I feel like it's still just like... You shouldn't need an infinite number of random seeds if your random seed is a real number anyways, right? Is this not true? Okay, well, how about I just work on this and then like there's a chance I think that it won't matter. Because the strategy will be clear how to change it. And then if it does matter, I'll go back to thinking about product spaces. But I feel like, I feel like the product space is still measurable. And then you just kind of... You can't say jump or double with what? That's not what I meant by... Wait, I didn't say anything about doubling. Wait, what does double mean? No, I'm not terminating after a fixed number of moves. I'm literally just saying like the product space has some measure on it. we had like 20% of them terminate, let's say like 3% of them win, and then the other 80% they don't terminate, and then you're just like, okay, like if you are in the random seeds that are in the other 80%, just jump whenever you feel like it. We don't care. Like I don't, like the point is that if you fixed hidden string, like your strategy cannot depend on the string for obvious reasons. I don't know. I feel like this should work. But let's. I agree. Let's not worry about it. Instead of 1%. Oh, you can do that, Will. I mean, or if you want me to put 99%, I'll put 99%. But like, okay, sure. In that case, the scaling thing I said is out the window because I probably don't want to. So okay, I need a function such that. Well, okay, in that case, I really need a different function than here, right? Well, okay, the point is that 2 might be too small. Does this not terminate? Are you telling me this doesn't terminate? I feel like if I put a string with arithmetic density 0, then, oh, no, but I feel like the same thing, it's the same thing, right? Like in the measure 0 space where the frog never jumps, you just edit that. Like, the premise is that you can make all the decisions based on a single random number you see from 0 to 1. As the fixed random seed. And just make all your instead of having to repeatedly consult a random oracle at every step. And if that's true, then I don't think the distinction matters. Like I just feel like 0, 1 to the infinity doesn't like it. I mean, yeah, I'll write always jumps, but I just don't think it matters. Like if there's a measure 0 set for which the like unless you disagree that a single random seed is enough to run the whole strategy, I just don't think you care about those measure 0 cases in which the frog never jumps. In fact, how would you get a strategy for which the frog never jumps if you want to use this model? Like, wait, now I'm confused whether this is possible. Wait, now I'm very confused. Hang on. Frog jumps at no finite time. Is that good or bad? Okay, well, anyways, okay, here's what we're gonna do. The frog samples a random number. Yeah, like, I feel like I disagree with the premise that this is an issue, but the fact that you're insisting on it is telling me something about what the intended strategy is. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have the frog sample a random number between 1 and 0.001, strictly between, and then jumps at the first index I, for which I only care about the number of ones, right? So but let's say like 1 plus let's do an offset, so the something like this, right? And I bet this works. So the condition that arithmetic density tends to 0 ensures that there is always an index t for which you jump. But the fact that row is varying means that an adversary can't do anything. And I don't know if it's exactly row, or like maybe you want like row squared or something like that. No, I disagree. The point is that this is why you need the randomness, right? Yeah. I agree the frog always jumps, but the time at which the frog jumps can be randomly distributed. So the order of the quantifiers matters, right? If you have 100,000 ones to start, then this P succeeds with probability. Ah, shiba. Can I just get it to decay faster? Like, or does the decay rate not matter? Your claim is that if I just pick a lot of ones to okay, so I need to punish the things that have a lot of ones to start more somehow. God damn it. God damn it. You're right. What do you do if there's just way too many ones to start? No, wait, hang on. If you have 100,000 ones, wait, actually, no, why is that true? I feel like this should work. in that case. Like, if you start with 100,001, like, okay, let me pick numbers a little smaller just so that it's easier to see what's going on. Well, anyways, if you start with 100,000 ones, then the first index t, yeah, the first index for which the density decreases to less than 1 in 1,000 is like big, right? Like, if actually this strategy works always, not even like works with probability 1. The strategy always works if your string is called start with a bunch of ones and then have zeros after that. So I don't think your counterexample works. I won't be like too surprised if there's a counterexample, but I feel like this strategy should be like not obviously breakable. I'm completely convinced this is trivially a no. I mean, okay, here's a strategy that I claim probably works pretty well. What string would you like to present as a counterexample to this strategy? There might be one, but I'm not convinced that there's I should say t. Yeah, like parameters I can play with here. I can play with like how, like right now I have rho as a random a uniform distribution. That's probably not super desirable. I think I would prefer to have you want the rho to like get pretty small. Like you want the values to be clustered towards low values of rho. Such that the inf densities are right, but the problem is rho is being randomly sampled, right? Like it's not like rho is a fixed number. So, oh, I see. You're saying that, I see. If you contrive the string such that if you make them spaced close together, then you trigger the... okay. Oh god, there's so many quantifiers. Man, you told me this problem would be fast. I guess it's because I'm refusing to look at the hints, but it sounds like you're going to force me to read the hints. Wait, I don't see... I mean, that version, that subproblem is very easy, I think, because what you do is you impose a random distribution on the set of positive integers that grows pretty rapidly, and you say jump as soon as you reach a threshold. And then the probability that as long as each integer individually has at most 0.01 probability, you're fine. Sorry, that's not true. You wanna... Oh, hang on. No, sorry. What I said was a total lie. Ignore everything I just said. There's no probability... There are probability distributions on the integers. They're just not uniform. Like, you can take the integer I with probability 2 to the minus I, but that's pretty bad. I see. What you need is for the cumulative distribution to... Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I agree. This is what I said doesn't work. I don't feel like that problem feels like it's that much easier. Um, what? So are you telling me that I want like so one thing I can do to guard against the thing that you were suggesting earlier with like spacing out rows or whatever is that you can put like a dependence on the parameter t. Like at each time t, the frog samples their threshold and then jumps if they're over the threshold. Actually, but that feels really bad because if you start with like a lot of no, that's fine. If you start with a lot of ones, you just don't jump for a long time. So if you put a time dependence, then you can't force the frog to jump right after one of the traps that you set. I guess the issue with this is that the frog will. There's a probability 0 chance the frog never jumps if you introduce a parameter like this, right? But you can fix this by saying the frog starts by picking epsilon between 0.001 and 0.002, and then sorry 0.001 randomly, and then the frog at each time it samples a random threshold between epsilon and 2 epsilon. And then jumps at the first moment. What? There isn't any content? Am I stupid? Like, cause I still haven't figured out the counter the example. Like, I'm convinced there is such a strategy, but I can't get one that quite works. But here's the new proposal. All right, in order to guard against the, like, you add a time dependence, and now the thing that was suggested earlier feels like it shouldn't work. But also it will terminate. Yeah, overall, I'm getting the impression you just like throw more randomness in, because like it should work. It's just, Yeah, for the finite set version, I guess what you can do is instead of picking a row like this, I mean, you pick a threshold, and then the threshold is Yeah, I guess the point is that you need a time dependence, because if you try to use an absolute number at the start, that will kill you. But something like this should work for the finite case too, I think. Like what you do is you pick... Well, okay. In the finite case, maybe one thing you can do is you have the frog like repeatedly flip like like a coin, and then jump once the sum of the heads. Like you have the coin, you keep a running tally of the coin, and then you flip. Um, you jump once the number of heads you've seen is larger than. Maybe you bias the coin somehow, but you flip once the number of heads is larger than the number of ones that you've seen. And this seems like it'll probably work. Zero, what is a counterexample here? But you bias the coin. In fact, you should bias the coin such that actually, now I'm confused. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, okay? I'm imagining that you have like some nice thing in your head, but like it feels like almost anything that has enough randomness in it should work. Like the frog is really doing really great here because it's really arithmetic density 0. Yeah, the problem with the coin thing I described is it actually terminates with probability. Like it doesn't literally always terminate because you could always get tails. But again, like as I said, I just don't think that is actually an issue because it's just you in this case what you would do is your random seed is called the set of binary strings with some weighting, and you just throw away all the strings that have finitely many ones. It's like, it's measure 0 set. It doesn't really do anything. Anyways, yeah, does the red strategy work? I feel like this red strategy works. Just because once you add a dependence on time, it should just kind of be fine. I think. When P of t, rho of t consistent, but it can't. Like the point is that I'm sampling epsilon and 2 epsilon. Like epsilon's already random, and then the rho has like a scale factor inside it. So, density 0 is equivalent to finite? No, density 0 is not finite. For example, the set of powers of 2 has 0 density, but is not a finite set. Like, I don't see how you can rotate can possibly consistently undershoot. If epsilon's already randomly... picked, and then like rho is also like at each step rho is like between epsilon and 2 epsilon. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh. Yeah, this might work, but it need to be formalized. I mean, yeah, it's oh god. Yeah, I agree. It will require some work to get it to work, but which country's problems you like the most? Except USA and Taiwan. Well, I know you only know the density before you, but like, this epsilon is absolute and picked randomly at the start. So this epsilon doesn't depend on the sequence, and this rho doesn't depend. Like, I don't know. Is I don't know. I feel like this should just work. Uh, sorry, I was talking about what countries I liked. I don't know. I feel like a lot of countries have, a lot of the top countries have really good problems, and I don't know if I have one that I'm just like, this country is better than everyone else's. I am pretty impartial to stuff from Russia. Brazil I found is also pretty good. I like Taiwan and USA obviously, but you knew that. I also think China is fine. I think, yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I don't know. Can I? Is there a nicer way to do this? It should be based on some metric of density. Like if I want a strategy that's like short and obviously works, then I have to actually have it tied pretty closely, I think, to the definition of density. So, dude, I have no idea. Hey Chichi Impact, thank you for the raid. For those of you that are new to the stream, I'm Evan. I'm a Math Olympiad coach, is I guess the short version. And then every Friday night, some of my kids throw problems at me, and I work on them with extremely varying amounts of success. But yeah, thank you for dropping by. Yeah. Well, Goody Tease was good. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the red thing should just work. I don't. Can you get it? What would something simpler look like? So your condition that the upper density is 0 is saying that you have some. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do with finite? If in the subproblem where instead of upper density 0 you have finite, jump once enough zeros? I don't feel like this. But I don't see why this is quite... Is this equivalent to picking a fixed... I don't think it's the same as picking row to be constant, because... Like, the whole point is that you have some fuzzing on the... Like, it's... Like, you have this... It's, the point is that you're introducing a noise factor, I guess is what I can... The way you can prove it. Like, you put a different noise factor at every value of time, so that, an adversary can't kill the frog by having the density drop little by little and then setting the ones for after that. Right? Yeah, like I feel like this shit is just super... It's a little annoying to... I think you can just fix epsilon. Oh, you can take epsilon fixed. 0.001. Really? Okay, that part I feel a little surprised. Because if you know the... Oh, I guess that's true. Oh, I see. No, actually, no, it's not quite equivalent. But yeah. Yeah, I guess the thing is the density can't change very rapidly. Eh. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, but what I'm gathering is that you're telling me that there should be a way to do this that would be a little... That is somehow simpler, which will make my life easier when I try to show that the construction works. In which case... Like, I have to use... I feel like I have to use this one... I don't know. Like, I guess what I want to do is I want to find some function t such that... So right now, I had this thing where I picked epsilon randomly, and then... Okay, but... Like, is there a lambda t for which I can... Like, a random lambda... I guess the strategy is, like, roughly of this shape, right? Like, because you expect the... You expect you only care about the density beforehand, and you also only care about the, it should be monotonic, probably. Like, if there's a higher density before, you should be less likely to jump. So... I don't know. Like, I feel like I wanted to have a random epsilon so that rho could always be arbitrarily small. Like, I feel like if you have a hard bound that rho will always output a number at least 0.001, you might be in trouble. Yeah, I don't know. Um, Can I try to show how annoying would it be if I tried to just show that the red strategy works as given, or is that just like because in order to compute the probability, the probability will be a function of a string, so it's like not great. Oh, I don't see one either. I just felt paranoid. Like I feel like I'm kind of just like okay. Anyways, all right. Let's just if you think fixing epsilon is, I mean, if I computed this, I would give the answer in terms of epsilon anyways. So okay, let's just fix epsilon. Um, fix epsilon greater than 0 and like less than 0.001. Let lambda be let lambda t in epsilon to epsilon randomly for each t independently, and we jump as soon as the density we jump as soon as the density falls below lambda for lambda with that random fuzz factor. So fine. And then so you have a fixed string now. You look at the first moment at which the density falls between 0.002 and 001. And no, I feel like you can. I feel like the adverse. Yeah, I guess it's something like the density can't change quickly enough or something. No, I'm a little confused by this though. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like you just keep going below 2 epsilon. I mean, okay, but like how do you actually show that this works? Because this calculation seems so annoying. All right, so this is in fact worse than the other. Yeah, I was wanted to finish on the okay, yeah, okay, well, we're gonna random epsilon. Yeah, otherwise. Oh, oh god. You might be right actually. If you no, actually no, I don't. Because I think the thing is like if you You don't know where epsilon... Oh, can you nest it? Like you keep picking epsilon, dipping a little below it. As soon... Oh, oh, that's sad. Do you solve lead code questions as well? So I haven't tried lead code before. I have done a lot of... Not a lot. I've done a number of like code forces problems in other competitive programming contest problems on the stream. If you actually look at today's, there was one like code forces problem a couple hours ago. Which I kind of got dragged through. That problem was pretty high above my pay grade. It was fair, but can you reduce to a case where the condition on AT is stronger? Your hints are terrible. Like... You can reduce... Oh, that's what you were saying earlier. So... deciding at 2 to the t whether to jump at a random... so you group it into powers of 2, and then... you either skip them all, or you jump... Wait, what? What's your secret? I want to improve at math. If you want actually useful advice on how to improve at math, you need to give me like about 100% more detail. The answer for what should you do next looks very different depending on what your background looks like. If you don't want to put details in public chat, feel free to email me instead, and I'll answer when I get a chance. I don't understand the reduction. Like, for example, like... What do you mean by reducing to finite? Right? Because it's not the case that every interval will... It's not true that, like... most intervals will still have things in them. Right? So I don't understand what you mean by reduce to finite. All intervals, I agree that the intervals are eventually small density, but I don't understand how that's a reduction to the finite case. Oh, you mean a finite length. You don't mean... Oh, I see. You don't mean the set of ones is finite. You mean like an interval, the interval itself is finite length. So your claim is I'm gonna wait until you find a You're gonna wait until... what? No, wait, that is a sequence... Wait, what? Now I'm confused again. Um, okay, fix an epsilon greater than 0. There are finitely many intervals with density greater than epsilon. Okay, fine. And then... Okay, I agree. So the claim is that... Okay, I understand. That's fine. Okay, I'm gonna delete this chunk here that seems super annoying. So we're gonna hide the red strategy because we don't think this will really work. I'm gonna just move the goal into the first page and then I'm gonna hide that. So we're gonna, yeah. So we're gonna let S be the set of indices I for which the density of mines, I'm just gonna call them mines in honor of the grasshopper. The density of mines into the I to the I plus 1 is larger than 0.001. Well, let me call it indices L. We'll come up with an algorithm to... Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's fine. So now we're in this finite set case. Okay. Alright. I guess that gives me a reason to actually think about this finite case again. So then... If I know there's finitely many... Did I need powers of 2 for this? Could I just have used, like... Oh, okay, no, you do need it to... Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so then if we want to do the finite set case... Hmm. In the finite set case, does the coin thing I said work? Where the frog takes a, let's say like some biased coin that shows 1 with probability 1%, and then keeps flipping the coin. Takes a random seed that generates the coin flips such that that sequence has infinitely many ones, and then jumps once the that accumulator exceeds the number of ones. Oh, but that's still actually super annoying, because like the yeah, that's actually still super annoying, because you have a binomial distribution. So if I have a finite set, then I guess one thing I can do is try to just come up with an absolute strategy such that each finite set has only has a certain probability of failure, such that when you sum them all, it converges to some number less than 1. Actually, wait, that might be... Can you just actually use a coin straight up? Well, okay, I mean, if you front load the... If the mines are all front loaded towards the head, you're not happy. Because you need to not jump on it. Yeah, I mean, so the red thing that I wrote, we believed it worked for like density 0, so it will definitely work for a finite set. It's just a question of like, is it easy to check? And I think the answer is no. But if I have the stronger assumption that the set of mines is finite, yeah, you can just wait for a long time Like, can I sample a random? Can I just pick like a random threshold k and then jump once the number of zeros is k more than the number of ones, and then like, or not k? I should say like, well, I should probably use a multiplicative factor, right? Um, like what? Wait for the number of zeros that you've seen to be strictly more than c times the number. Yeah, I guess the point is like the density is now actually monotonic. Um, like if the proportion of ones that you've seen up to any point is actually eventually decreasing. Well, no, that might be too. Ah. So, what? Um. Well, yeah, this doesn't help. Like I know you're supposed to wait around like that. We've known that for a long time. Uh. Da, da, da. Okay, so you want to you pick a number from 1 to 1,000. Fine. I'm assuming that's uniform. What's this? How do I begin to describe what's this? So, if you know who I am, I'm Evan. I'm basically a high school teacher, I guess is the TLDR. And on Friday nights, if I don't have too much other stuff to do, I let my students throw random problems at me, which I attempt to solve with extremely varying amounts of success. And the one that we're doing is this one about a frog that's written here. Probably not the one I would have picked if I knew I was going to get a raid, because this is the kind of problem that's like really technical and also not that fun to watch. But well, you can't predict that in advance, so here we are. Yeah, I would have done like the Euclidean geo if I had known there was going to be a raid today. Because that one it's like a lot. You can actually see what's going on. And it's like a lot more steady progress. Where a problem like this is like a lot of being confused and also like me sitting around. Good luck. Thank you. Anyways, okay. Dolphin says to pick a number from 1 to 1,000, and Oh, hang on. Actually, I'm confused about one other thing now. Why is it true that there's only finitely many bad numbers? Like, why can't I just space out the bad intervals by like a lot? Oh, okay. Because each interval is actually longer than the length of all the previous ones. Okay, never mind. So you actually need the powers of 2 to grow rapidly enough. I don't think it's true if you take a slowly longer one. Yeah, I don't know. What do you do in the finite case? So if you have finitely many minds. I mean, I still think like the strategy that seems like it's gonna work is like just pick a random like. I haven't changed my mind about like this strategy, except now that it's a finite, I don't think the counterexamples with the dipping are gonna happen. So it's like you pick a random density threshold and then jump once you're over it. And if the set is finite, I don't think you can. There's just no chance. I think there's no chance that like a finite set will be a counterexample. Here's another random thought where you can imagine that you set up you rig a probability distribution of jumps such that like for each number contributes a probability of killing the frog. And if you can rig that number, say for a mine at position T, if you rig that error as like K of T, then as long as some K of T across all the positive integers is a small number, you're also okay. So okay, actually, okay, this is probably what you were trying to get me to do if this works, which is that like at every point T, I'm not even going to read the history. I just like, let's say I jump with probability 10,000, 1 over 1,000 T squared at the point T. Then given any finite, no, hang on, something's very wrong. Oh, sorry, it doesn't jump with probability 1. That's the issue. If you do this, then well, sorry, no, this is not gonna work. Because I do actually need to jump at some point. I would say if you wanted to pick a branch of math, this would be measure theory. But I think that's a very weak classification. I like Okay, the problem is this, okay? We had a strategy that we're pretty sure it works. We just didn't know how to prove it. So if you keep giving me hints that are like, you know, this is a strategy, like, is there a way to penalize? Like, the answer is yes, it's a strategy I described already. The problem is just that it's too annoying to actually show that the bound works. So, right, like the issue is not that I don't have a way to get it to penalize ones. The problem is that it's too annoying to execute. That's the bottleneck right now. So like, you know, try to say penalize ones does not help because I already have something that penalizes ones. Even in the like upper density 0 case. Set theory is probably not the... Is there a harsher way to penalize ones? What? Maybe I'll just submit more Geo from now on. Man, you guys were the one that really wanted me to do this particular one. Like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the Geo and go sleep. And you guys are like, no, you should do the frog. You'll be fast. Like, the problem is that, like, you... Like, when you want to do these strategy things, like, the ideal world is either that there's, like... Well, the ideal situation is that there's actually enough head guardrails that, like, there's only one strategy that works, and then you can figure out what it is, and then you're fine. The problem with this is, like, you know, you can easily write down something, and you're like, this is going to work, it's just too annoying to execute. And so now you have to be, like, try to guess exactly which strategy happens of the space of different things that you can pick, has a reasonable way to write it down. Anyways, what happens if you just have you start with a constant that's called the jump probability, and then every time you see a 1, you cut it in half. Does that work? So you start with the threshold, and then if you only see zeros, then you jump with that probability, and then every time you see a 1, you have the probability or something. Or like, I don't know, take it to like square, it might be stronger. Formalize that? Is that not a formal description? Like, start with, it sounds like I can epsilon equals 10 to the minus 10 or whatever, and then at each step, jump with probability epsilon, and if you see a 1, have epsilon. It has to, okay, fine, I'll take an interval. I'm surprised you think the interval works for the earlier, I'm surprised you think the interval is necessary for this, but not like the earlier density crap I was doing. Anyways, okay. Chosen uniformly at random. And then, at each step, if you see a 1, have epsilon or something, I don't know. Okay, now if I have a finite set, of minds. So if I put a 1 somewhere, the probability is like, the probability, you can get the frog with probability at least epsilon at that thing. So that, we'll just bound it above by that. And if you don't get it, then... Oh, I see. Wait, why do you need to... Yeah, why do you need the interval? I see what this is going, which is that, you know, it's like epsilon over 2 now. Like each one has a successfully smaller chance of killing the frog. But I don't see why you need epsilon to be an interval. Like now it really seems like... Oh, that's what you meant. No. What? Right, but I'm not taking epsilon equals 1/2. I'm taking epsilon equals 0.001. Like, I don't care that, like, 0, 1 will... Like, I just want a probability of winning that's... Right? Like, I agree that if I pick epsilon equals 0.001, then an adversary can set a string that kills me with probability 0.001, but I don't think... We are never aiming for probability 1 to begin with. Right? Oh wait, hang on. No, what? Yeah, no, I think the interval isn't necessary. Like, I claim that this... Oh, sorry, I don't know why I wrote equals 1. Like, this is 2 epsilon. But we'll let epsilon, like... Like, this is just fine, right? Like, I'm bounded away from 0 now. With never jumping. You keep saying this, but I just don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. Like, generate a random seed, sorry, let me think how I wanna... Email me for the minor math question. Or, okay, if it's like actually a... If you played the question in Twitch chat and I can see how to answer it in less than 30 seconds, I'll answer it just on the spot, just so you don't have to wait. Otherwise, email me. Like here, if you really don't like probably like pick a random irrational number new in 0, 1. And we'll let n equals 1,000. All right. And then we'll jump if the fractional part jump at time t if the fractional part of I don't know, 2,000 to the t of new is less than 1 over 1,000 or whatever. I don't really care. Well, actually, we'll just read the digits in binary. No, yeah, this is fine. Sorry, I don't know why. And we'll do 4 to the t such that the halving doesn't kill us quickly enough. Jump with probability epsilon can be replaced with jump at random from... What? I mean, oh, like, okay, but like this works too, right? Like I just think the probability zero, like we don't care about the measure zero sets, and this is probably the most convoluted way to like get around it, but like we just don't care about measure zero sets. And if you for some reason really don't want to do the measure theory, I'm going to be like, okay, we're going to pick a random irrational number as the random seed. Therefore, you don't, you can't have whatchamacallit. The digits in base. Oh, this doesn't quite work either, actually, because I'm reading base 2 digits. No, actually, it's fine. It's like the base 2 digits can't all be 0, or something like this. Oh, this is super annoying. We're gonna let epsilon equals like 2 to the minus 10. All right. H cubed minus 2 equals k factorial. Cubes are 1, 0, or minus 1 mod 9. So h cubed minus 2 will always be minus 2, minus 3, or minus 4 mod 9. But factorials are always divisible by 9 once k is large enough. Hey Evan, isn't it 2 a.m.? Only like 1 a.m. It's 1:15 a.m. where I am right now. I'm assuming equiv was just meant to be equals. If it's a mod equation, that's a really weird equation because factorials are always 0 mod most moduli. Or sufficiently large k. So I'm assuming that the oh, well, that I don't know what to tell you then. Like, if that's supposed to be an equal sign, then take mod 9, and it'll imply that you only have to check for small values of k. If it's, if there was a modulus in the original question you got, then that seems incredibly stupid. And the factorial is just there to be a red herring or something. Okay, anyways, here we are. I don't know. The irrational number, I'm gonna not write the irrational thing because it's actually too stupid. But like, I really don't care about the measure zero sets. Like, you can just, your random seed is some number you're generating from, you have a random seed. Just throw out the random seeds that would cause you to never jump. Those are measure zero.